Good morning, Unity, and welcome. What a joy it is, and happy Mother's Day. If you're not a mother, Gabby said this to me this morning, happy Your Mother's Day. And it is a very wonderful happy Mother's Day. Myrtle Fillmore, one of the co-founders of the Unity movement, is often called the mother of unity. And for me, she is certainly the heart of our spiritual movement. Our movement that is based on new thought principles, based on ancient truth teachings, and bringing it together so that we can all experience this loving blessing as we move forward. And she was really all about transformation. What she said was, keep on praying for faith. It is through prayer that you develop all your wonderful qualities of soul. That spiritual growth, that transformation that she's talking about, that is what we're here to do as we are about our doingness. Ooh, anyone get that? Yeah, so it's bringing that faith forward in all that we do, in all that we do. And she was really talking about transformation. As Paul the Apostle said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And she took that to heart, and that was her practice, was renewing her mind daily, so that she can bring that into the world with ease and grace. So, what is transformation? When you hear the word transformation, what do you think of? Just shout out a word. What do you think of? Change. Oh, I heard that with trepidation, with frustration. Change. Letting go. Wow, you guys are all spiritual. See, the first thing that came to my mind were superheroes. It was a true story. You know, I was a child, growing up in the 70s and the 80s, and I loved to watch the campy 60s and 70s superhero shows. Do you remember those at all? Wonder Woman, she would transform by spinning around really fast, and all of a sudden, she's Wonder Woman. My favorite was Batman, of course. When, Bruce Wayne and Robin, they'd be sitting around, and the first scene would be, in every show, it'd be Commissioner Gordon going, we need the Cape Crusader to walk over and say, we don't know who he is, but we're sure glad we have him. He'd press the red button, the red phone, and the phone would light up. And then at the other end, in Wayne Manor, in case you haven't seen it, spoilers, in Wayne Manor, right, Alfred, the butler, says, I'll fetch him right now, sir. Sets down the phone, walks over to Bruce Wayne. It's the bat phone. And Robin would usually go, yeah, let's get him. And then Bruce would come over to the phone and say, we'll be right there. Turn to Robin, to the bat pole. You remember that? That's the big transformation scene. He the little statue bust, he'd whip up the head and push the button, and the bookshelf would open. There'd be two poles, one that says Robin and one that says Batman. And they'd run to the pole, sometimes bumping into each other, and they'd slide down. And when they got to the bottom, they were in their costume. They were transformed. Wouldn't that be awesome? Talk about spiritual transformation. Excuse me, to the bat phone. I don't know. I'm still workshopping that one. So that's what we think about. That's what I think about when I think about transformation, because we're so taught to look for the outer demarcation for transformation. We're taught through centuries of looking for some transformation that is outwardly, so that we can see that something has changed. But the real transformation occurs within us. The real transformation occurs every moment of the day. So in the Bible, you'll hear many tales of people changing their name. For example, Saul of Tarsus, who was the persecutor of the early Christian music movement, people following the way. He was out persecuting them, and then had an enlightenment experience. And that from that point forward, he was referred to as Paul, the Apostle Paul. And so there's that physical transformation, that outer demarcation that we're used to seeing, or that we want to see in our lives, so we can say, oh, look, there's some change. Hopefully change for the better. We're so trained to see transformation as it being some miraculous change in the world. You remember the show This Old House? Every day we got to see transformation. In a moment. How many times have you gone back to some place that you haven't been to for many years, and it has transformed? And all of a sudden, it's transformed. Simply because of our perspective of it. Transformation tends to be either in an instant, like, oh, it just happened. I haven't been to my roots down in Southern California so long. I went down there, it's completely transformed. Like that. It's been 40 years, so let me just, but hey. And it's also often talked about as being finite. Transformation is going from A to B, and then you're done. Woohoo! I don't have to do anything else anymore. I'm transformed. But transform isn't a static process. It's continual. It flows every moment of the day. And our goal is to awaken to that transformation every moment of the day, or as often as we can. Every moment of the day, that's pretty pie in the sky, right? But when we recognize, oh, here's a moment where I can shift my mind. And transformation follows a pattern. There's a pattern, a very clear force phase pattern that we can look at. And it can be in an instant, and it can take time. And how much time? Well, that's up to you. So here's what transformation looks like. Felix, will you roll the video? A big thank you to Russell Norman for the piano underneath it. Can you sit there and see the transformation within you? Maybe if you put a slow motion camera on yourself, or a time, what's that called, that kind of camera? Time-lapse camera on yourself. I actually don't want to see that. But in your consciousness. See, that's what transformation looks like within you. It's an ongoing, everyday process. It happens continually. And it's really the continual process of becoming, of allowing a greater expression of your authentic self. And I love that term, authentic self. It's, you might call it your better self, your divine self, your Christ self, whatever words you want to use for it. It's that authentic, true self of you that is that divine presence, that spark within you, that gets to shine in so many beautiful ways. Think about this, I am transforming into a greater expression of my authentic self. I am transforming into a greater expression of my authentic self. I'll say that one more time, and then we can affirm it together. I am transforming into a greater expression of my authentic self. Together? I am transforming into a greater of my authentic self. And you see, it's not coming from a standpoint of, I'm not there yet. And how often are we blame, shaming, and guilting yourself? The great BSG? Get that out of your diet. The blame, shame, and guilt, because that's where we tend to come from. I'm not there yet. And so that affirmation just takes that and unwinds it, because we're always transforming. And if we're mindful of it, we can be present to that greater authentic self emerging. And in any transformation, the environment is really vital. The environment is vital. This is from Matthew chapter 13, verse 1 through 9. And I think this is a magnificent parable for us to look at here. This is the beginning of chapter 13, when the writer of Matthew said that same day Jesus went out to the houses and sat beside the sea. Such great crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat there while the whole crowd stood on the beach. And he told them many parables. Now, first off, note, this is a parable. So this is the parable of the sower. This isn't actually about how to be a good gardener. This is about our own consciousness. This is about how those divine ideas come forward through us. And it's all about creating the right environment. What a masterful teacher. Listen, he said, a sower went out to sow. As he sowed some fields, some seeds fell in the path, and some birds came by and ate them. Now, how many times have you had great ideas, and those ideas, you kind of threw out willy-nilly, and someone else came along and picked them up? Those ideas were eaten, they were gone, they were spent. Just think about it. So no BSG, just think about it. Other seeds fell on rocky grounds where they did not have much soil, and they sprang up quickly since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they withered away. So how many times have you experienced something or had an idea or captured a glimpse of something in one of John Riley's talks, or on the YouTube? Can I say that? My kids are rolling over their grave right now. On the YouTube or the Instagram or the TikTok. I love teasing them. So anyway, you'll catch an idea, right? And you think, this is a great idea. That was a wonderful experience. But the fertile soil isn't there. It's on rocky shores, and that idea sprouts up, but then the sun comes and scorches it away. How many of us have experienced the scorching sun in our life? Yeah. And I'm not talking about that sun up there. I'm talking about the ridicule or the criticism or the I'm not good enough tape rolling through your head. So that soil, it was not hospitable for that wonderful idea. It sounded great, but it can't grow to fruition because we're not ready for it, or we're not creating the best environment for it. Other seeds fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Anybody experience somebody choking out your ideas? Others, not us. Other seeds fell on the ground, fell on good soil, and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. If you have ears to hear, hear. That last line for me is powerful because ideas come to us all the time. These principles that are true because they're laws in the universe. They come to us all the time. We may understand them, we may not understand them. We may throw them away, we may not. We may hoard them, right? Putting those seeds in our pockets. I'm going to plant those someday when the time is right. But first, I've got to learn how to be a gardener. I'm going to plant them someday, but first, I've got to buy the right soil. I'm going to plant them someday, but, I need that ox to prepare the soil. That's how they did it back then, I'm told. There's all of these things that we are storing our seeds, but we're not doing anything with them. And so we have to create this environment so that this experience can flow through us with ease and grace. And it really comes down to a healthy environment. And because this is a parable, we're really talking about our own consciousness. All of those excuses out there are just ways in which my inner consciousness doesn't have to deal with it. Right? I don't have to deal with it because I'm going to blame it all out there. The fertile soil, we need to prepare our own consciousness, our own awareness, so that when we get these ideas, we can nurture them. And we can see them grow. And we can work with them. So it's really a healthy environment, and that's really what Unity Palo Alto is all about. It's helping us discover and cultivate this healthy environment in our own consciousness. And when we come together, we do it in community. That's what community is all about, is helping and supporting one another in this spiritual growth. Helping and encouraging someone in their transformation, celebrating that life, and holding ourselves accountable to my own spiritual growth. And a lot of times what we do is we tend to look at quantity versus the quality. Whenever we think about a goal, many goals are all quantifiable, yeah? A lot of times we're thinking about, I need more money. I need more stuff. I need more people. We're always trying to quantify them out there instead of qualifying it. Maybe instead of I need more healthy. I need to be more healthy in this environment. How about we need to show up more healthy? Maybe we need to show up more kind and compassionate. So instead of looking at the things, look at the quality of life that thing brings. The transformation process can be broken down into 4 steps. This has been studied actually by many people, and I was studying Ken Wilber not too long ago, and he puts it in 4 different phases of life: wake up, grow up, clean up, show up. Now, Ken is very direct, and that may not resonate with everybody, that language, but those are the same 4 phases that we go through that we're working with in this parable, because the first phase is the seed, right? That spark idea. And you may have that seed. That seed could be that aha moment when you're sitting in a class, or you're reading a book, or you're meditating, and all of a sudden you have this aha moment, and that comes up. There's my seed. It may be something that an experience that you had, or something that you heard. It could be that feeling of, oh, I feel so joyful. I'm blissed out. Anybody ever feel blissed out and happy and joyful? And we're looking at that experience and thinking, I want to get back there because I'm not there. See, there's our doubt. There's our fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Sorry, that's a different acronym. There's our blame, shame, and guilt. Right? There's our blame, shame, and guilt coming back to us because we feel like we have to be somewhere else than where we are right now. But where you are right now is perfect because it's what is. It's what is. And so that seed, that idea, is something that we get, and then we need to do something with it. Yes, what do we need to do? Plant it. Just making sure you're all awake. We need to plant it, yeah. Take it out of your pocket and plant it. Now, sometimes we collect seeds and collect seeds and collect seeds, and then we get to a tipping point. And this happens all the time. We get to a tipping point because that idea comes to us, and it's like, oh, I get it. And then I'm back to my old routine. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I have that experience, and then I'm back to my old routine. Until we get to that tipping point where someone says something that says, oh, that's it. There's my aha moment. I'm starting to plant the seed now. And so we plant the seed, and we need to feed, water, and nurture that environment. The beautiful thing about that movie is when that seedling first came out, do you see it all shaking around? It is so vulnerable then. And it's in this phase where that idea, that spiritual growth is so vulnerable within us because we have our rocks and the birds of our own consciousness, right? The birds that will come and pick out that seed. That's the blame, shame, and guilt. That's the I'm not good enough. That's the yeah, but I need something else first. All of those things are attacking that seed in that moment because they're delicious. So we need to feed, water, and nurture that idea. Myrtle Fillmore said, "The soul must be awakened, brought to a realization of truth, and encouraged in right use of all of its divine faculties and powers. The individual must be helped to unify the spirit, soul, and body in harmonious spiritual living here and now." Such deep truth in that once we're awakened to it, that's that seed, it's then ours to plant. It's ours now and our responsibility to do with it what needs to be done, place it in a healthy environment, and allow it to nurture. And we are a community of sowers. We come together every Sunday to sow these seeds and pick up seeds and support each other in this spiritual growth. The third phase, what happens when plants start to grow? What else starts to grow? Weeds. Or everything else that you don't want in your garden. The weeds start to grow. These are our negative doubts. These are our self-blame and self-shame. These are the weeds of, that the volunteers, you know what a volunteer is? The neighbor's plant sent a seed over and it's now growing in your yard. Someone else's blame, shame, and guilt that you've taken on in your garden. It's time for us to weed out and pull out all of those old beliefs, looking at all of those old patterns, letting go of the need to be right, letting go of the need to be perfect, looking at our shadow, all of those qualities within us that are just seeking to be healed, and drawing them into the light. So we weed, and we can weed each other's gardens. How do we weed? Well, we have to look at the weeds and decide, is this something that's helpful for us? Pretty straightforward. Is this thought or idea helpful for me? Is it going to lead me into a place where I am feeling stronger, where I'm feeling more healthy, where I have the skills and the tools that I need? Or is it something that's bringing me down? Is this idea, this plan, something that will foster greater growth, greater community, greater strength? Or is it something that's weakening me, that's diminishing community, that's bringing me down or us down? So we have to weed. The weeds are just there. They're okay. Some people love gardens that are filled with stuff. I call it stuff, they call it garden. I go out to the Baylands. Guess what's out there? Stuff. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. For me, it's beautiful all day, all year round. It's especially beautiful in the springtime when all the flowers start popping up. But in our own consciousness, we have to take time to decide what we need to gently pull out. Because you don't want to go and just rip out all the garden because you'll pull out the seedling as well. So it's a very gentle process of plucking out those error thoughts, blessing them, and putting them in the compost. The fourth phase, the showing up phase, is harvest time. Harvest is when we're overflowing. At this stage, that idea has blossomed, has bloomed, has produced fruit. If we're in a community, we've planted lots of trees and we have an orchard. And so we're drawing upon that idea, that harvest. overflowing with gratitude and celebration. The harvest festivals are filled with gratitude and celebration. Thank you for this bounty. And so in our own consciousness, as we begin to say, oh my gosh, I got it. I did it. That idea that I had 3 weeks ago, I just put it into practice. Isn't that fantastic? It's amazing. It's much better than saying, oh yeah, whatever, but that was just once in 3 weeks, so I'm not that good. So where's the energy there? You're pulling out the root. You're pulling out the seed and the fruit along with the weeds. Just notice the harvest time is all about celebration, gratitude. It's about love and generosity. It's about giving from the overflowing of abundance. And so your transformation is really all about these 4 phases, finding those seed thoughts, those seed ideas, planting them and nourishing them, and pulling the weeds when you gently need to pull the weeds. And then when they come to fruition, sharing that good news with the world, sharing that good with your family, with your friends, sharing that good with another person and the idea, allowing that good to flow and then plant another seed. It's a continual process of unfolding. Can we go to our affirmation, Felix? And so our affirmation, I'll read it and then invite you to affirm it. Today I sow, that's the wrong sow, sorry about that. It's S-E-W, okay. Blame, shame, and guilt. Oh, that's right. Hey, I got it right. Celebrate, John. Yeah, you did it. Okay, that's why I have Grammarly. Anyway, today I sow seeds of love. Together we share in the harvest. So feel that energetically. Feel yourself sowing seeds of love right now in this present moment. Feel that love well up within you because it's yours. It's always there. It's always present because God is always present. And that energy of love is the harmonizing energy of spirit moving in, through, and as you in this very moment. And so we awaken to that love. We nurture that love, that energy within us. We have those doubt feelings. Is it so or is it so? How is it spelled? We allow that to drift away. And in this moment, we affirm together. Can I have the affirmation back again? Together we share in the harvest. So we draw upon that well within us, and then we share that love out into the world. Together, let me read it one more time. Today I sow seeds of love. Together we share in the harvest. Together? Today I sow seeds of love. Together we share in the harvest. And so it is. I have one more quote Thich Nhat Hanh wrote in the Tao. If you want to awaken all of humanity, then awaken all of yourself. If you want to eliminate suffering in the world, then eliminate all that is dark and negative in yourself. For truly the greatest gift that you have to give is that of your own self-transformation. As we use these tools, as we nurture these ideas, they become real for us, and we begin to experience and express that unto the world, and we begin to be the good news, that authentic self that the world so desperately needs. Yes? I'd like to finish my talk with a poem. This is my mom's book, Color This Day Beautiful. Unity Palo Alto's Poet Laureate. It's a book of poetry that is in the office, on sale, as a matter of fact. This is called The Harvest by Joyce Riley. From the treasures of my heart, from the groundwork of my soul, seeds of love are bursting forth, fully ripe and whole. As I give them through kindness, through service, and through prayer, I find more fruit to harvest and more good seeds to share. Let us take that into our time of meditation and affirmative prayer. So I'll invite you to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath, to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or soften your gaze as we begin to tune out the outer world and the outer experience, moving to that inner realm of spirit. Breathing into this present moment, I release and relax all of the thoughts that I've been holding on to. Whatever weeds have been growing today, I just gently pull them out and set them aside. Breathing into this present moment, I shower that thought with love. I am one with the infinite love, light, and wisdom. I am one with the allness of life. I am the expression of love. As we breathe into this moment, we feel that flowing energy nurturing us, flowing through every cell in our body, flowing through every heart, emotion, feeling, flowing through every thought. Breathing into this present moment, I allow that harmonizing energy of spirit to flow effortlessly through me. I am overflowing with love. I send this energy out now into the world as we bless everyone in this spiritual community. As we bless all of humanity. As we bless all of creation. In the stillness of the silence. I am one with the allness of life, love, and wisdom. In this moment, divine love flows in, through, and as me. I am uplifted, for I am overflowing with God's love. I send this love now out into the world. And as I do, I am filled up, for it is never-ending source within me. Breathing into this moment, I say thank you. Breathing into this moment, I send this love out to the world. We surround our prayer chest and all of the prayers in it with our love. Together, blessing each person, knowing each situation is in the right place at the right time right now, for God is. If there's somebody who you hold in prayer, I invite you to say their name out loud now or bring their name to mind. For all of the prayers in our hearts, we give of our love. We allow that love to flow generously, and we celebrate and say thank you by singing the Alleluia.